YouTube, this is Izzy from Diaziad Productions, and I'm here to bring you my first tutorial on how to route Native Instruments Modern Drummer through Kontakt Player's mixer onto multiple channels in Ableton Live. The reason I'm doing this tutorial is because when I ended up purchasing Modern Drummer, I realized that it was very high CPU intensive, and it worried me due to the fact that, if I wanted to work on, a song and needed to add, guitars and voices and, how many channels, I would want to just lay down for stereo channels and so forth. It worried me that the fact that it might peak out and, crash my computer. So I didn't want to do that in the middle of a session or anything like that. And, but I did a little bit of research and I came across Eric Tarr. He did a tutorial called Native Instruments Drum Mixing, which I think is a very informative tutorial on how to do the same thing for Pro Tools. And the reason he did it though is because he likes to use other Native Instrument compressors that Native Instruments offers, just so he could be able to design his sound on his drums to his liking. And I think that tutorial itself is very informative, it's very helpful, and it's how it helped me to know what I wanted to do with mine here in Ableton Live. So let's get started. Alright, so normally what you want to do is once you load your Kontakt player onto your MIDI channel, this is going to be blank, and I have Abbey Road Modern Drummer here, and what you want to do first is you want to go onto your output. Eric explains this pretty, in great detail, so I'm going to go real quick about it. You go to Add Channels, you add the certain amount of channels that you want, so they could actually mimic this mixer, which is the mixer that comes within Modern Drummer itself. So there's a mixer within Modern Drummer itself, and then there's a mixer within Kontakt Player. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. With the kit mics is 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's 13 mics, 13 channels there. So on the outputs, I made my channels, but I put down 16 channels, and actually I put down 17, because when you actually add your channels, they're going to be as stereo and with a numeration indicating how many channels you actually laid down. So I put 17. This is just for extra, anything extra, because the reason I have all these channels is because Abbey Road Modern Drummer comes with two kits, the Sparkle kit and the White kit, and they have different options of with different instruments that you're capable of using. Also, you could use a lot of instruments within the actual white kit itself. If you actually go to the kit, you have the option of sticks, claps, a cowbell, and a little splash, and some really cool cymbal that looks like it's torn apart, but it just goes down and it has a cool sound to it. I'm not a drummer, so I don't really know what's the name of it, but for all the drummers out there, you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, so it comes by default with the solid G series of effects, which would be the solid GEQ, the transient master, the solid bus compressor, and the tape saturator, which I believe are great effects, but again, they are very CPU intensive. And another thing that's also very CPU intensive for some reason is the reverb that comes with this. I love reverb. It's obviously gives you each space of what it is that to make it sound like where you're playing from. But what I do is I mute it, and that helps me out on ducking out on some of that CPU intensity that I suffer from. Just bear in mind, I'm running with 10 gigs of memory on my computer, so I still don't understand why it's doing that. But anyway, so once you do that, on your settings, and this is on the kit's mixer itself, under settings, these outputs are set by default to master, and they'll run into the master bus channel. But you want to start going by when you have them named on your actual output of Kontakt Player, you'll start setting them up that way through this. So the kick, you'll set it up with the kick channel on the output here, and they start routing. So you'll do that for all your channels, for your snare, your hat, your toms, clap, chops, overhead stereo, overhead mono, room stereo, room mono, and so forth. And again, you just want to make sure that on each of these channels you have all these effects turned off, because this is what kills your CPU. I'm going to play a groove, and it has it all, without it, and you'll see that it's not that intense. When they're all on, it's pretty much peaking like 40, 50, depending on how much what kind of a groove you're using. It could go to 60 to 80, and that's already just really super high. Just the fact that you're in 40, it's super high. And this is already looking high as it is, but it's still, because it does have such a huge amount of samplings in there, so you could get a nice clear sound. I think it's a great, simulator. Just the fact that when you have something playing like this, let me give you an example. You have this groove, you go to this little section here, you select that, and you just drag and drop your groove, and there you go. You have your groove indicating, what kind, like all the MIDI notes, and it's all in the MIDI information of your groove. And what's great about this is that you're capable of like actually working around and, just adding extra little clicks and rolls that you might want to do, or you could just play with what it is that comes by default and just do your own arrangement. So once you've already routed all of these onto the actual mixer in the Kontakt player itself, you'll start seeing that all of these, are showing, the kick itself is coming through the kick channel and so forth. Now in Ableton Live, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have audio channels set up exactly the same way. So what you do is you add all your audio channels that you want. I have them here grouped all together already. And on audio from, you're going to select Kontakt 5. You'll do that for all of them. What you can do, just quick tip, you select them all, and then you just click on the little arrow and select Kontakt 5, and it'll select all of them for you. After that, per channel you want to go individually. You'll go underneath Kontakt 5. There's the post mixer by default. So you're going to select Kontakt 5 kick, snare, and so forth. I already did it for all my channels, and you could see that all the sounds for the kick, for the snare, and so forth, they're all coming through each appropriate channel. The overheads are coming up through here and everything. So I could be able to work on them and add my own preference of an EQ, or my preference of a compressor and my tape saturator, and then on the master I could like select what it is that I want, so I could just do that final glue with a compression that I want for these drums. This is just my way of doing it through Ableton Live. Eric Tarr, again, shows how to do it through Pro Tools. So I'm hoping this tutorial is very informative. I mean, this is as quick as I can go. There's not much that I could say. It's just a real easy concept. Again, just make sure you load Kontakt 5. And when you load it, make sure that you go to the actual mixer on Modern Drummer, because this is how it appears by default. Go to the mixer, take off all the effects, route each individual channel out onto the channels that are on Kontakt Player, because these should be set first when you open Kontakt Player. Set these. And just a quick reminder on how to set them. You go to Add Channels, select the channels that you want, keep it on stereo, which is 2, make it as your default configuration, hit OK, and they'll appear. Name them. Then you do that, run through again what I just told you on Modern Drummer, and then you just put all these audio channels, and then you could group them, and you could I keep everything on a -3 dB, just so I know that nothing will ever peak, and from there you could just work on a master channel, or the Kontakt drum channel here, and work on your volume levels there. So I hope, again, this is informative. This is my first tutorial, and if I come up with some more tips that I think might be helpful for all our Ableton Live users out there, I'll post some up. Other than that, if you have any questions, please post them there, and I'll try to answer them as quick as I can. Thank you very much, and this is Izzy from Diaziad Productions, and I hope this was an informative tutorial for all of you. Thank you again, and have a good night.